Ain't no problem. Sorry about that. I just had to turn on and off the cast so that I could save it in a reasonable space for each game, so that I can hopefully put it up on YouTube or what have you for my own personal use. Ha ha ha. So yeah, nothing yet's come out, but in the bottom left, in the cyan trunks, we have Icy, and we're currently one down to the player in the top right, Mr. Sinister, in the purple trunks, playing Terran on Shakura's Plateau. Now again, this is traditionally a slightly imbalanced map in favour of the Terran because of the very easy movement path through the centre of the map, but I've personally never found it to be that terrible because it is reasonably large, so you can reasonably easily take a fast third, following on to a fourth and a fifth, and for every problem that you have, you will always find that the Terran has the same problem, even though they do have planetary fortresses which are incredibly good for defending bases. So far we see the same strategy coming out from the same players every single game so far, actually. I don't think anyone has yet gone for anything more than a 15 hatchery followed by either a 16 or a 17 pull, which is the standard because it's mathematically the best build which you can ever go, because it means it allows you to get the fast queens out, which allow you to inject incredibly efficiently. Although there is, again, actually, I don't think he did this last time. I think this is a slight change. No, he's actually cancelling the gas. It could have been for an extractor trick, but I doubt it. It's more likely just a change in decision, as he was planning on going for a more aggressive build which got speed faster, but instead is going to be going for no speed, because he wants to get a lot more of an economy up in time, because putting 3 guys in gas is incredibly expensive for your economy, because that's about 100 minerals per minute that you're not having, which isn't great. So yeah, again we see these gas geysers coming up very quickly for Sinister, so it could be possible that he's doing a similar push to last time, but I doubt it considering he's putting down a second barracks, unless he just wants to have slightly more defense in case Icy comes up with a aggressive build in response to his incredibly heavy mech play that he did last game. So a full scout coming out to see that he has in fact got a command centre that's come down. I think he saw that earlier, but I'm not sure. And 2 Zerglings down on the gas on the Zelnaga towers, which allow him to see the entire map incredibly easily until drops come out, in which case they can then start moving through the air space, but it's not much of an issue, to be honest. So 3 barracks and a factory have now come down, and on this there's a reactor, so it's probably going to be going for some Hellions. So the Zerg has now put up a 3rd base in the traditional spot here, because it allows you to only defend this area along here, whereas if you take the base here, then it means that suddenly you have to push further up into this area, so you actually have a lot harder of a time defending any pushes. If they start pushing here, then they can sweep around and suddenly they're attacking not only your 3rd in 2 places at the same time, but they can threaten to push straight into your main and natural. Whereas this 3rd is just slightly more safe because it allows you to sacrifice it if needs be. So Hellions are now again coming out, and Stim is being put down, along with 2 reactors on the barracks. I'm not sure what those Hellions were doing, along with 2 reactors on the barracks, so it looks like he's probably going to be doing a reasonably heavy timing push with quite a few Marines, probably some Hellions, and most likely pure only Stim. He might go for combat shields, but it's hard to know. So again, the Baneling Nest coming out for Icy, which allows him to defend any pushes with Marines, and to an extent with Hellions, but not incredibly well, because Hellions are so fast in relation to Banelings until you get that Baneling speed and creep. For now though, it's just upgrades coming up. This should be well timed actually to finish at about 10-11 minutes, which will mean that he hopefully will be able to defend the push which comes out at about that time. So same 4 Hellions coming out, and this time Zerglings have been made in preparation. And also this is incredibly strong because the Zerg has absolutely no map vision now. So he can see that 2 gas have been taken, he can see that there's people on the minerals, but he doesn't have a clue about what units are there, and he doesn't know what units are really being produced, apart from the fact that it's most likely tanks and lots of Marines with an upgrade and medevacs. So, I mean, from these buildings you can work out that there is going to be a strong timing push coming, which will probably be with about 3 tanks at about the 12-minute mark. Some more Zerglings being made in order to prepare for that push, and again the drops and Overlord speed have been queued up, which is an incredibly interesting technique because most Zergs don't actually use it, but it's very good. Similarly, spines are now coming down in the main, a natural to be able to defend from drops, very good decision, and Overlords have been placed in strategic locations to be able to hopefully scout if any medevacs are going to be dropping units. So it looks like it's going to be a combat shields, stim, and +1/+1 timing push with siege tanks. So at the moment he's just got 2, so you can expect him to push out in maybe 40 seconds, 30 seconds, at 12.5 minutes. So 1-1 has now been finished for the Zerg, so he's going to be equal to the Terran in terms of upgrades when this push does come out, which is what he wants. He's also being able to get infestors, so he's going to have an incredibly strong unit composition to be able to fungal those units to stop them from moving anywhere, and being able to deal incredibly strong damage, because there's only going to be 4 medevacs to heal over an entire page, nearly 2 of Marines. We're using a couple of Zerglings here, and now every single Zergling is going to be produced, and you probably won't see any drones come out until maybe 30 seconds, when hopefully this push is going to be cleared up. It depends. 2 infestors, hopefully placed in a strategic location to be able to pull off various fungals, but you won't be able to now that this Zelnaga tower has been secured thoroughly, and they're just about not in range, which is quite lucky. But the Terran's going to stem in, and that's a very easy 2 infestors which have just been taken out, and revealing the Overlord speed. Not necessarily drops, but you can normally infer that if they have speed they will have drops at the same time. So only 1 Baneling, must be feeling a little bit left out, but there is going to be drops in these Overlords which might work. They traditionally work against Protoss because you have the drops, but it looks like incredibly good clear up, as the Terran left his Marines slightly in the wrong place, leaving his siege tanks exposed, allowing the Zerglings to clean them up incredibly efficiently, as now the Marines have nearly all gone down, but it looks like these final few Marines will actually be out there clearing up a couple of infestors, which is unfortunately I've lost my train of thought, but it doesn't matter because 4 medevacs just went down. That was very bad, as the entire push was cleaned up, but that has allowed the Terran to get a 3rd up, which is essentially what he wanted to achieve by doing that push. But the Zerg is actually now going to be loading up these Overlords to drop into the main, just to sit on the production of the Terran and the mining to be able to do some pretty good damage. He's probably going to do a push at the main at the same time, as we can see by these Zerglings being produced.